Well, hello and welcome to another episode of Crypto Corner, my video podcast where I discuss everything related to cryptocurrencies and blockchain technology. Today we're going to look at the markets and we're going to look at some of the news as well. So let's get started. It is Saturday, almost the end of the week, and I'm going to cover some of the interesting stories for today. And as usual, we are actually starting with an overall look of the markets. Let's see what is going on. We currently see that the total market cap of all cryptocurrencies is over 500 billion, 506 actually, a slight decline from 507, which was in my previous video. The Bitcoin dominance is also slightly higher. It's 62.2%. It was 61 point something, I believe, in my previous video as well. And looking at the top cryptocurrencies, we are seeing a slight recovery here. We know that in the last few days we were going down. Bitcoin is now recovering to almost 17,000. It was actually 17 just a couple of hours ago, so now we've fallen just below it, but we are touching 17 again. Ethereum is also recovering a little bit at 510. Ripple is recovering at 55 cents. It was 51, I believe, in my previous video. Bitcoin Cash not really doing that well, 264. Chainlink is at 1245, Litecoin is at 69.33, and Cardano ADA is at 14 cents. Polkadot is actually suffering a little bit today, 2% drop since yesterday, 4.72 in terms of USD value. BNB is not really moving very much at $28. Stellar actually did very well in the last few days, and especially since yesterday, 7.93% gains. It's at 20 cents. So good news for holders of Stellar. It's actually 87% up in the last week. So this is staggering. In terms of USD value. In terms of Bitcoin value is even better because Bitcoin went down a little. So Stellar is actually 106% up against Bitcoin in the last week. And it is the top gainer here in the top 20. I don't really see any other coin performing that well in the top 20. Other good performers are Dash at 5% gain since yesterday. In the last week, it is 37. In the last week is in fact 8% up against Bitcoin, 2% down in USD value, but nevertheless 37% up in the last month. So, and NEM is actually doing very well as well, 34% up in the last week and 91% up in the last month, 14% since yesterday. So it's currently at $18. So good news for holders of NEM. I actually used to trade that coin a lot in 2016 and 17, but I haven't really paid attention to it very much. So these gains will actually definitely make me look at it again and see if it's something that I want to be trading. Of course, this would be a short-term swing for me. I wouldn't really be holding these cryptocurrencies for long-term. As you know, my long-term holdings are Bitcoin, Ethereum, maybe a little bit of Chainlink. Okay, let's look at Bitcoin and what's it currently doing. So we're still in the correction phase. We touched 19,400 almost, or in some exchanges 19,448, like Bitfinex here, and we are correcting. So overall, from that peak up until the bottom of what we did here in the last few days, we've corrected 16%. Now this is a very healthy, very typical and reasonable correction. I'm not surprised by that at all. I'm actually surprised that we did not correct further down. And this is something that I was expecting, and I'm still expecting it. But guys, let's be clear. Everything is possible here with Bitcoin, and it is also possible that this was the correction and that we are now going to go and start a new push to reach that all-time high and break that all-time high. I won't be surprised if we do that, even though I'm actually hoping and expecting that we will come to retest this support and even the lower support that I have marked here, which is sitting at just below 16,000, 15,800 in fact. So are we able to do that, and is it likely to do that? I think so. Nothing is guaranteed, but it would make sense for us to come and retest this support, because this is kind of a stronger support than what we did here with 16,600, or we went to 16,500. On some exchanges slightly lower than that, but the 16,000 level, which is also a psychological support, this has to be tested, and as we come down there, it's very likely that we will go slightly below it to 15,800, and this is a stronger support. It used to be a resistance, and it was a support here for a while. We see that a few days we actually consolidated and we touched that support 3 times before we actually went up. So it would make sense if we come and retest it. This support level here at 16,600, which we were stopped at, this was not a very strong support. It's only been tested once, and then here on this retracement. So I'm not really sure if this is a strong enough support in order to keep us pushing higher. But at the same time, we see that the RSI is sharply dropping. It is not in the overbought area anymore. So it is also likely that we're going to continue now the upside move. So we're going to see what's going to happen in terms of market dominance. Bitcoin is dropping a little bit now. We went to 62.78, and in the last day we have dropped to 62.10, 62.12 right now as we speak. So this is also giving a little bit of a boost to the altcoins. They are recovering a little bit. This is the altcoin market cap, and last time I showed you that it was actually dropping. Since then it has actually been recovering a little bit, which is good news, which means that we are seeing some green on the market of altcoins, as I showed you here, and it could be actually a good time to be getting into some altcoins. Make sure that if you are getting into altcoins at this point, you monitor them closely, because if Bitcoin drops and goes down to retest support levels, altcoins will also drop. So maybe don't just go all in an altcoin, but kind of buy a little bit and then wait and see what's going to happen over the next few days, because now we are approaching the end of the week. Tomorrow is Sunday, so it's going to be very important how we close the week, whether we will close above 17k or below 17k, and exactly where we're going to close, because if we close above 17k, that will be definitely very bullish. And make no mistake, we are still in a bull market. The fact that we are having this correction right now, this is a minor correction, so it is not really a start of a bear phase, bear trend or anything like that. This is what's actually regular, and on the way up we are bound to have this kind of corrections. If we look at here, so we just did a 16% correction. If we look at this correction here, this was a 9% correction, so almost 10%, which is the smallest correction. We can't even call it a correction if it's not 10%. So let's see, what did we do here? I'm sure this was more than 10%, and in fact it was around 18%, and then of course we continued on the way up. This was back in September. What did we do? Let's actually go all the way back to a previous bull market so that we can actually compare, because we don't really want to be comparing just to a couple of months ago. Let's look back in history. This is in 2017, so this was in June 2017. Let's see what we did here. We did a correction of 37%. Now this is what I call a proper correction, and this is what everyone is waiting for. I'm sure it will happen at some point, but it might not be right now. it's very likely that we will actually go and challenge that all-time high, maybe even break that all-time high. This is what I'm expecting, and only then we do the 30% or more correction. But a 30% correction is very likely to happen, and it's something that is even supposed to happen. Everyone knows that. We did that again in September 2017, 39% correction at that point, and we still continued going up and up with a lot of velocity here. We did another one in November 2017, and hold on, let me just go all the way down here, and in this case it was another 31% correction. So as you can see, this kind of 30% corrections are something very healthy and normal. They are important for the organic growth of that market. We need to go that much to retest support levels, and then we know that the support holds, and that really gives us the boost to continue going up. We can't continue going up without these corrections. We could, but once we do that, as we did in December, and we continued going up too much, at some point we actually were stopped out, and we went all the way down to these price levels to test these support levels, and then that drop from here to these support levels was much bigger than a correction of 30%, which I believe is much more healthy and expected correction. That's why I'm saying that it's needed. Let me just see exactly how much was that correction. It was 69%. You see, and this is from December 2017 to February 2018. We corrected 69%. Now this is not a correction. Now this was actually a beginning of a long ABC correction, or a bear trend as we call it. This is more than just a correction, but a 30% or 35% correction, this is a healthy regular correction during a bull market, and it doesn't cancel the bull market. 69% cancels the bull market, but 31 doesn't. So this is what I'm seeing for Bitcoin right now. We've corrected only 16% in the last few days, and it's possible that we can continue going up and up before we go and correct by 30%. Or it's also possible that we just continue next week going down and correct 30%. And in fact, if we are to correct 30%, we are going to be taken to well, exactly this level, which is around 13,500. So this is the last red line that I've drawn here. This is a support level. It also coincides with a Fibonacci level, so it will make perfect sense to correct over there, but it is not a guaranteed. I'm not saying that we will do it just because it makes sense that we should. And many people expect it, which also means that we might not get there, because when too many people expect something, the market doesn't actually do it. Too many people were expecting that we will reach the all-time high just a few days ago, and they were placing orders for 19,800, 19,700, 19,600. We didn't actually reach there. We were stopped out at 19,400 because there were also many people who were expecting that we might go there, but they wanted to be early, they wanted to be quick, and they started selling before we get there. And clearly the selling pressure was higher than the buying pressure. That's why we didn't reach these levels. Now that many people are expecting that we will drop more, and they have already sold, it is also possible that we continue going up and surprise these people. They've already sold, so they're stopped out of this trade, and we could actually climb to 20k, maybe even 21k or 20,500 or something, and then correct by 30%, which, if is that to happen, let's see, if we go to 20,400, let's say, and we have to correct by 30%, that will take us to 14,200. Let me just double check. Yeah, or just about 14k. So 14K level is still feasible. It is still on the cards. We don't know whether we will definitely get there, but it is possible. For those who have already sold and are waiting for deeper correction, it is possible that it will happen, but I cannot guarantee that. And this also coincides with the news. In the news today, we have this headline here: trying to predict the price of Bitcoin is a loser's game, renowned finance expert says. Now I'm gonna get into that just in a second. Let's first get the intro for the news. So we have here Mark Mobius, the founder of Mobius Capital Partners and acclaimed authority on emerging markets, who told Financial News that there was no point in trying to analyze Bitcoin's prices because in the end it doesn't follow any pattern. His words are clear: trying to predict the price of Bitcoin is a loser's game, reports cryptopotato.com. It's undoubtedly challenging to attempt to make comparisons. Throughout the year, Bitcoin has been highly correlated with gold and the S&P 500 for quite some time, and I did report on that as well. But we have decoupled already, and we've seen that gold dropped and S&P 500 dropped when Bitcoin was actually making new highs for the year. So this is what they mean, that it's actually a little bit unpredictable. They also point out here that at the start of the pandemic back in March, Bitcoin lost 50% of its value, and then at the peak of the pandemic, it began a sustained bull run. Shortly after the US presidential election, the token accelerated its rise almost into a bubble land. Well, this is really what Bitcoin does, but this is also why we keep looking at charts and we keep looking at patterns and indicators, and we see what's it doing, and we currently know that we are in a bull run. At least we can agree on that. And these kind of corrections are important for people because they need to be prepared. They need to be able to make informed decisions on what to do with their investment, whether to sell, whether to buy, whether to hold. So even though Mark Mobius is saying that it is a loser's game, I still feel that these videos help. And let me know, by the way, leave a comment below if these videos are helping you to make better informed decisions about your crypto holdings, or whether to buy or sell your cryptocurrencies. Now, other news: the digital euro is probably in the making. German minister calls for quick decision on EU CBDC. CBDC stands for Central Bank Digital Currencies. As you know, I've already been talking about them. They are in the making. Many different countries are working on their own digital currencies: America, China, Russia, Venezuela, you name it, Japan, many countries. And now we're talking even about the European Union working, or at least thinking of starting to work on a digital currency. Germany's finance minister has called on stakeholders in the region to expedite action on plans for a central bank digital currency. The EU is currently examining the case for a digital euro, even as China accelerates its digital yuan testing protocols. According to Reuters, the German finance minister Olaf Scholz wants Europe to move faster with developing a working digital currency product. Commenting on the issue, Scholz remarked that there is currently a considerable appetite for virtual currencies among consumers and business entities alike, adding that on the digital euro, I think we should work very hard. It is nothing where we should wait and see. We should be able to decide at any time that now we should do something with a digital euro. So they are really pushing for it. I told you already that I'm actually not very fond of that idea. In fact, I find it as a big threat because digital currencies will be leaving a footprint everywhere. I mean, every purchase, everything you do, every transfer will leave a digital footprint. Everything becomes really traceable, and it becomes traceable by a central authority rather than what we do with Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies that are traceable by the public. So when we talk about transparency, I'm all for transparency when it's really public and it's visible by everyone. But if it's transparency only available to those who rule, those who govern, and those who pull the strings, that is not really transparency. As we can even see right now with the elections, American elections are a mess. They keep talking about rigged elections and fake votes and all of that stuff. Well, okay, make it transparent. Let everyone see what's happening, but at the same time, let everyone see what you are doing as well, right? Government should be transparent with us the way they want us to be transparent with them. This is the biggest problem, because rulers usually want to know what you're doing, but they don't tell you what they're doing. And this is why cryptocurrencies are actually coming to oppose the financial system, because it has been controlled by central authorities for the longest time, and we never really know exactly what's happening and how things are being run and where money is going. This is the problem. So they always want to know what people are doing with their money, but people don't really know what government is doing with their money. Okay, and on the topic of digital currencies, centralized digital currencies, there is news about Libra, the Facebook digital currency that has been in the making for a couple of years now. So it's finally rumored to be launched in January 2021. So that is just over a month from now. CoinDesk is reporting on this. Libra, the Facebook initiated stablecoin project that's been targeted continuously by lawmakers. Yes, they have had a lot of trouble with lawmakers in the US and some other countries, might get off the ground as early as January 2021, albeit in a more limited format than the original multi-currency basket envisioned. If you remember, in the beginning, it was supposed to be pegged to a number of different currencies rather than just one, just in order to be kind of more diversified. And there were also a lot of different companies they jumped in to support this project and later pulled out, such as PayPal, Visa, MasterCard, and many others. According to a report by the Financial Times on Friday, Libra may launch as a single dollar pegged stablecoin next year. The global stablecoin project was initially proposed to be pegged to a basket composed of multiple fiat currencies, but was walked back by project leaders in April as a result of regulatory pressure from lawmakers in the US and abroad. The other currencies within the basket, however, may actually be added later, also the article reports. So we're going to see, well, in any case, if it is going to be a dollar-pegged $1-to-1 dollar-pegged stable coin, this is not going to be very different from what we already have. We already have at least 20 other stable coins that are pegged to the dollar. Some of them are even pegged to gold and stuff like that. Libra was supposed to be pegged to at least 5 or 6 different fiat currencies, but it seems that regulators are really making it hard for them, and I have mixed feelings about Libra. I feel that it is not necessarily needed, but on the other hand, it will make it will popularize the use of digital currencies, and with that the use of cryptocurrencies. So it could be like a gateway for many people who are not yet taking cryptocurrencies seriously or don't feel they understand them to actually go into cryptocurrencies by first starting to give a taster of Libra, Facebook. And also it will make it easier for people to send money abroad, because pretty much everyone has a Facebook profile these days. There's still many countries that don't have PayPal. I am connected to many people online in my followers, and a lot of the times I'm getting people asking me, what to do, how to get money sent abroad, because they don't really have PayPal, or even, MoneyGram, of course, is costing a lot of money, so it's not a good alternative. They don't have Revolut, all of these options that are available to us in Europe and America. They're still not available in many other countries, and many people are still afraid of cryptocurrencies because they don't really know how to use them. So maybe it's even just difficult to exchange them into their own native currency. That's why with something like Libra, which will be available, I hope, in all of the different regions where Facebook is operating, that would definitely change the game. And this is also why all of these countries are now rushing to get their own digital currencies, central bank digital currencies, in circulation before Libra becomes too big, because they don't want to be replaced by a privately owned digital currency. they want to have their own state-owned digital currencies. Now, other news. Roger Ver is tweeting here that there are now more than 40 major businesses accepting Bitcoin Cash in Antigua. Well, good news for you, Roger. Very well done. As the first reply here states, and approximately 0 customers paying with it, which is true. Nobody really cares, at least no one that I know of is really involved with Bitcoin Cash or invested in Bitcoin Cash. It is I mean, it is good that Roger Ver keeps doing this, strong marketing for Bitcoin Cash, and it's really trying to get it to be used, and it's really growing the use case of this coin. However, I feel that the guy is really not doing a fair game when it comes to, being a Bitcoin opponent. He used to be one of the biggest Bitcoin supporters back in the day. He used to be called Bitcoin Jesus because he was going on all of these networks constantly talking about how great Bitcoin is and everything. And since the fork happened, he's been completely against Bitcoin, which he calls Bitcoin Core, just because he fell out with Blockstream, the developers of Bitcoin, and he's really not seeing eye to eye with Blockstream developers, and he is doing everything possible to bash Bitcoin and promote Bitcoin Cash on the back of Bitcoin. So this is a tweet he did on November the 17th, that at the time when Bitcoin was actually gaining more than $1,000 in a single day, it went from 16,000. Let me just show you here. This is 17th of November. Bitcoin went from 16,500 all the way up to 17,800 in a day. So more than $1,000 gain in one day. And what did Roger Ver do at the same day? He said that imagine investing in Bitcoin today, but not realizing it was always meant to be cash. Well, yes, his biggest argument is that Bitcoin is actually a little bit slow and a little bit expensive to transact with. So it's not exactly a cash alternative anymore. It's more of a store of value. Well, this is what happens when too many people feel that the coin is too precious to be spending it. Good money is not really going to be spent. Good money is going to be held. And this is what's happening with Bitcoin. This is actually a chat we had with Ivan on Tech a year ago, I believe, when we were talking about the war between Bitcoin Cash and Bitcoin, and even Bitcoin SV. And why all of these cryptocurrencies trying to compete with Bitcoin, and is it actually a threat to Bitcoin? And we came to the conclusion that in fact Bitcoin is not really threatened by these claims. Everyone knows that Bitcoin is really the strongest coin. The whole community supports Bitcoin BTC and not Bitcoin Cash, which is with the ticker BCH. This is also why in a recent poll, I actually found here a recent poll where Roger Ver was actually declared the 3rd most popular scammer of all time in crypto. And by no surprise, Craig Wright is winning. Craig Wright is the guy who claims to be Satoshi, and he was never able to prove it. He claimed it a few times over the last few years, and he was discredited many times. It's now proven that he is not Satoshi. Even wallet addresses that he used in his claim, where he was pretending to be Satoshi, wallet addresses from many years ago that he claimed to be the owner of, later on signed messages saying Craig Wright is a fraud. So by now we all know that Craig Wright is the biggest fraud, the biggest scammer in cryptocurrencies. The second actually is Justin Sun, the owner of and founder of Tron. Many people find that Tron is kind of a scam project. They don't really like it. And the third most popular scammer is Roger Ver. And the reason for this is the fact that he is constantly bashing Bitcoin, trying to promote Bitcoin Cash on the back of Bitcoin. Well, I can't give him kudos for that, and I don't really like the fact that he's doing this. So Roger Ver, if you keep talking bad about Bitcoin, you're only digging your own grave. Nobody respects you anymore. You have lost so much of your credibility, which I feel is a pity, because the guy is very intelligent. He's a sweet talker. If you listen to Roger Ver, you will almost be converted by the end of his speech. You will be converted into a Bitcoin Cash supporter, unless you have all the knowledge, and you know what's happened, and you know his reasoning behind it, so then you might actually not really convert. But every time I listen to Roger Ver, I see a lot of reason in his statements, and this is why he's so dangerous. Anyway, in other news, and again, I'm using Twitter here for news today because this is really where we got the most interesting stuff. Justin Sun is warning us. Justin Sun, the owner of Tron and the second biggest scammer according to the poll, is actually reminding us that the 194,775 Bitcoin that was seized by the Chinese authorities last year in that crack of Plus Token Ponzi. If you remember, Plus Token owners were caught, and a lot of more than $4 billion worth of Bitcoin have been seized in that action. So this Bitcoin has actually been already sold. So he's just reminding us that there is nothing to worry about, and that it will not cause any impact on the market anymore. All of this has already been sold, even has been sold in the last quarter of 2019. Now, in fact, I think we reported on that last year. So yes, it was last year we were reporting on it. It was at the time when the prices was dumping, and we had a price crash, and I feel a few articles actually supported the opinion that it was due to a massive sellout of this money from Plus Token Ponzi. So this is it. This was the news from me for today, guys. And now I want to remind you that there are some Black Friday sales still going on until tomorrow. You still have time to take part in these Black Friday sales. I'm gonna start with my own one, which is Learn Crypto, the ebook. I published this a couple of months ago, and I have packed all of my knowledge in there. I'm talking about what are cryptocurrencies, what is money in general, and how cryptocurrencies compare to money, and how can they be used. What what did we have over the last 10 years that brought this advance of cryptocurrencies. I'm also talking about what is blockchain, what are differences between tokens and coins, what are the good tokens and coins that you should be paying attention to, how to structure your portfolio, different strategies on buying and selling, when is a good time to buy or good time to sell, how the market cycles work, the FAT cycle and the FOMO cycle, so that you don't get caught up in those. Many people make these mistakes. I'm actually talking about all of my mistakes, and I'm pointing out what to look out for, so hopefully you don't repeat my mistakes, and many more. I also talk about exchanges, explorers, all the websites that you need to use. I have the resources tab where I've provided links to all of the big exchanges and other websites that are important in crypto today, so that you don't have to search for them, because when you do a Google search, you know how the top searches are always sponsored, and a lot of the times they are phishing websites. So I talk about that, and about security, how to keep protected and everything. So make sure that you grab it while it's still at 50% discount. So this is the biggest discount that we have here from Black Friday sales. The next biggest one is the Ledger discount, which is 40%. Ledger is one of the top hardware wallets. They're currently doing 40% off until Monday. So make sure that you go and grab the link from the description box and get that 40% discount if you don't yet have a hardware wallet, because this is really where you want to be holding your coins longer term. They should not be on an exchange or any other custodial wallet, because as you know, they can be hacked, they can be seized, anything could happen if you don't hold your coins on your own in your own private hardware wallet. So another hardware wallet that I really like, and this is actually the safest hardware wallet on the market, is Cobo Vault Pro. Why it is the safest? Because it is air gapped. It does not connect to your computer. It does not connect to the internet. What it does is it connects to an application that you have on your mobile phone, and to approve transactions you have to scan a QR code from the application on your mobile phone and on the device, and this is how you actually connect it to execute transactions. But it doesn't connect to the computer, which means that even if your computer is compromised, there is no threat to the device. Also, it doesn't connect to the internet itself, which means that nobody can hack into the device from Wi-Fi or Bluetooth or any other connection, and this is why it is the safest hardware wallet. It is currently at 15% discount with the code in the description box, so make sure that you grab that. And there is another 40% discount here that I want to remind you about. This is Token Metrics. This is the website that I'm using in order to scout all of the coins that I want to trade, all the best coins of the week I can find on this. It's a suggestion of different cryptocurrencies that I can trade, and also they have a price prediction, they have analytics, technical analysis, fundamental analysis. Everything that you need in order to be well equipped to trade cryptocurrencies is in this website. And they just released their new tool, QuantGrade, which is taking more than 60 different quantitative and qualitative points in order, and feeding it into a machine learning, artificial intelligence software in order to get the right price predictions and the right estimate of which are the right coins to be trading every day or every week. So make sure that you check it out. You can get a trial version, and then you can upgrade with 40% from the link in the description box. So these are all the best deals right now. There is also deals on Trezor, TradingView, and many other crypto deals, but these are the top deals that I have, guys, the ones that I feel are the best ones here. So these are the ones that also, if you are a subscriber of my newsletter, you've probably received my newsletter yesterday where I included links to these deals and everything. So if you haven't done that yet, you can subscribe to my newsletter from my website ojjordan.com. You can see it up here, or you can also look at the links in the description box, where you will also find the link to my newsletter and to my blog, crypto-corner.com. Everything that I'm doing is in the description box, so make sure that you stay connected. Also leave a comment. I'm always looking at the comments, and I'm doing this every week now. I will be doing this AMA, Ask Me Anything. So if I see a comment that is really interesting and that will bring value to the rest of the audience, I will respond to it. So make sure that you catch those as well. This is everything from me for today's video. Thanks for watching. Stay tuned for more of these, and if you haven't done that yet, please subscribe and hit the notification bell so that you can be notified every time I'm posting a new video. This is all from me. I'm signing off, and I'm going to see you in my next video.